I think I'd like to let us go ahead and get started, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ruth Ann, you started recording? Beautiful. Welcome to the Progress in Pandemic, May 4th edition. Today we have a very interesting lineup of business people who are going to talk to us about how their businesses have thrived throughout the pandemic. Prior to that, let me shut off my phone, please. Excuse me just one quick second. There we go. Just want to remind you that this program will be duplicated on May the 6th at noon. We've been trying to find the optimum time for our members to attend these educational forums. And so we've been doing the same program twice in the same week, just to see which gets the most attendance. And so far it's about a 50-50 split. So it's kind of weird. We may have to come up with a different idea moving forward. Additionally, on June the 1st, I think that's going to be our last Progress Through Pandemic series. That is going to be Crystal Nicole, Raheem, Brian, and Greg presenting. And then before we go any further, I'm going to turn it over to Ruth Ann to talk to you about something that she and I discovered last week that's really exciting, and we want to share it with you all. So Ruth Ann?
Yes, we found out about a app that you can download from our that gives you the opportunity to work with your chamber page on your phone, and it's called Members Plus. Can you see? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what the app looks like, and you can get it at the Google Play Store, or if you have an iPhone at the Apple Store. And it gives you access to your everything with your business, the Member Information Center on the Chamber website. And if you haven't gone to your Member Information Center on your website, just tell me and I will send you a link. And there are, you can link up your site with your website with this site. And so people can find you and click on it and get to your website. There's also, as you can see, you can fill out all your personal information. It'll tell you what you want to see you can fill out what you want people to see on the web that talks about you, and you can download a picture. Also, you can do member to member deals. That's one of the things about our Member Information Center and being a member of the Chamber, is that you can offer people, other members, special deals and put them in there, and it'll be populated on our site. And you can, if you have a job to post, that is something else that you can do. So this Members Plus app is free, and you can just download it at your favorite store, online store. Okay.
Great. And just a reminder, folks, if you have other people in your business, you can add them as associates,
as reps, yeah.
And then they could access this themselves. So the more folks that we have out there accessing our Chamber members' websites within the Chamber website, the more traction we're going to get, the better ratings we'll get, and the more visible we will become. So it's a team effort. We all have to work together on this. Okay, great. All right, let me see. Okay, the last thing Ruth Ann wanted me to talk about was just to remind everybody, and this is more for the recording than here in person. We are running the pandemic response ship through the end of June. So if you've got friends who are in business in Fluvanna County that are not yet Chamber members, this would be a good time for them to take us on a year-long test drive for only $50. We would love to have them on board learn a little bit more about the chamber, and then become involved with the chamber and supporting the local businesses. Local businesses are in fact the lifeblood of a small rural community. And the more we can do business within the community, the better off the entire community will be. All right, so our first presenter today is going to be Tricia Johnson from the Fluvanna Historical Society. Tricia and I have a history that goes back a number of years. She has been the director of the Fluvanna Historical Society for the past 6 years. She and her husband raised their 2 daughters near Columbia in Fluvanna County, and they appreciate the peace and natural beauty of the landscape and the close-knit communities of Fluvanna. Tricia is going to talk to us about how her nonprofit has thrived within the pandemic.
Hi, so thanks for inviting me to participate today. I really appreciate the chamber. Ruth Ann is my neighbor across the court square, and she's a great neighbor, and we love having her. Rudy, I noticed you said we had a long relationship, but you didn't say if it was a happy one. So Rudy and I've known each other a long time. He was a great help with a festival that we used to run called Old Farm Day, and was always so reliable and helpful with that. We always appreciated it. Yeah, the pandemic has been a challenge for everyone, and for nonprofits, you know, that's certainly no exception. All of our public events, which we had worked so hard to build traffic to and a brand around, and to have kind of a accumulating excitement about our events, from Second Sunday's events to book lectures to our museum season, you know, when we're open. We had to set all of that aside for a while and navigate new waters. And so we took advantage of this time as a nonprofit to do the work that we could do without gathering with other people in an unsafe manner. So we have 2 major projects going on right now, one of which has 3 parts. We are working hand in hand with the County of Fluvanna to appropriately restore the historic courthouse. I don't know if you've taken a look at the courthouse lately, but it's a bit shabby, but it is a historically significant building and needs appropriate care. So we've been very fortunate to have some folks from UVA help us out with 3D digital scanning. And we're working on that process with the county going forward. It's yet another collaboration. If you've visited Pleasant Grove House, that was a collaboration between the Historical Society and the county. The Farm Heritage Museum, again, a collaboration. If you've seen the memorial to the Emancipation Proclamation in the Court Square, another collaboration. So that's been really helpful. That work has been able to do in a safe, that work's been able to be done in a safe manner. The other project we've been working on is largely outdoors, and that is the identification and documentation of 3 historic Black community cemeteries in Fluvanna County. We've received significant grant funding from CACF for that project, and that is an ongoing community outreach that, again, is being done in a safe manner. We have closed our offices to the public. We're not offering tours of our museums right now. So we have done a little bit of virtual touring through Facebook. There's some videos posted of some of our smaller exhibits that people can look at. And our board is taking into consideration how do we reopen. Our museum season typically doesn't start until June. So we still have a bit of time to think about that. But the Old Stone Jail, as large as it is actually comprised of small spaces. So we've kind of gone in and imagined how many people we could possibly have in there at once safely, and it's not very many. So we may find ourselves through the summer still restricted to things like outdoor walking tours of the historic village or outdoor exhibits from heritage crafters and such at Holland Page Place. But, you know, we're adapting, we're keeping in close contact with our board and also with our membership. We've upped our newsletters and our email presence. Our website is currently under construction, or reconstruction, which is frustrating because it would be helpful, but we're using social media to its best advantage, I think. And as always, our community has been incredibly supportive of our nonprofit work. and responsive. Last year, I have to say, our endowment drive was the most successful it's ever been. And it was because many of our regular endowment donors were mindful of the fact that nonprofits were taking a hit and were more generous than they ordinarily are. So all in all, it has been a successful, if very different year for us. And we're looking forward to sharing more about the projects that we're working on as we can, during this time.
Great. Does anybody have any questions? I actually have a question. The Old Stone Jail, like I'm imagining that you could probably have a family in there, but that's about it. Like I can't imagine more than 5 people.
Right, and 5 is kind of the number we landed on. So there's kind of a 2-part thing, you guys. We're thinking about the community and our responsibility to the community to keep people safe. But we also have to think about our volunteers. So our decisions around what we're doing are also, they're based on the science, they're based on the state regulations and recommendations, but they're also based on our volunteers and what risk they feel is appropriate for them to take. So if I, for instance, don't have any volunteer docents who yet feel ready to lead tours at the Old Stone Jail, then I can't offer tours of the Old Stone Jail. So we have this extra layer of kind of decision making that goes into it. That's not only, that sort of thing, but beyond that, it's what are our volunteers comfortable with? I'm the only employee, and I'm only a part-time employee. So the Historical Society is truly powered by volunteer efforts, and they are my first consideration. And then the community. So, tough decisions to make, but we're doing okay. And we're still, conducting community outreach in the ways that we can.
Trisha, what about self-guided tours? Like if a family had something that, either little things are set up for them to read or something to listen to. And so the volunteer is not in the building, perhaps outside, or some sort of a self-guided tour where they sign up for it online. And then they're provided the information to take with them.
That would be great if our museum were different. That poses for us a security issue. Oh. We are not a museum that has security measures in place. Our security is our volunteer docents. So we literally need to be with people as they go through the museum doing the whole don't touch thing. And not that I think anybody would try to pilfer anything, but some of the artifacts are very attractive. And, we can't have people handling them. So sadly, that doesn't work. Now, the outdoor walking tour, absolutely. But yet that is actually something we can do in person in a safe manner. So it kind of, sadly, it doesn't work for us. For a museum that was set up differently and had different interior infrastructure, that would be a great idea.
Trish, how can the foundation work with you and help you?
I don't know. How can you?
Well, let me just say we're willing to.
Thank you.
And I'd love to, a little later have a conversation with you about how we might collaborate. Certainly, and we're not limited to only inside those gates or anything like that. We're more than happy to collaborate with other entities in Fluvanna County.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because most of our membership, or I would say a great deal of our membership and a lot of our sponsors and donors are lake residents.
Sure.
There's that artificial boundary at the gate, but
exactly.
What we provide to the community is very tightly woven in with Lake Monticello. So I sense coffee in our future. We'll have to meet at Cup of Joe and
absolutely. Okay, Trish, thanks. Yeah.
Anybody else for Trish? Okay, next up, one of our newest chamber members and newest business owners in the community. We were fortunate to do a ribbon cutting for her just a little over, 10 days ago or something like that? Yeah. Not very long ago. The founder of Small Town Butterfly Boutique, Joanne Watkins. Joanne has lived in the county for almost 20 years and worked for State Farm until their operations center in Charlottesville closed down. That's when she decided she wanted to try to open a business. having a fashion boutique is something she always wanted to do, so it was the perfect time to open Small Town Butterfly Boutique. She wants to give it her best shot, and I will tell you, she's off to a running start. She's doing great. She's got a great little website. And without further ado, I give you Joanne.
Thank you, Rudy. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm excited about being a part of the Chamber and all the great things that the Chamber does for Fluvanna. It's been a big help. And also the women in business. They have been wonderful too. A lot of great resources. I wish I had actually found out about you guys and about the women in business even before I actually got started, because I have so many questions and still have so many questions, but I did. I have been here in Fluvanna for almost 20 years. My husband and we've been married for almost 35 years. And I have a daughter that's grown that lives down in Richmond. And so I've been at State Farm for almost 10 years. And when they decided that they were going to close the operations center, it hasn't closed yet. It is closing. I spoke with someone yesterday. I made a delivery of purchase yesterday from someone I worked with. She actually says that they're closing, should be closing in July. So I just could not, at my age, I just didn't feel good anymore about waking up every day wondering when it was going to be the axe on my job. You know, I can't live like that. And I've always wanted to have my own business, always wanted to give it a try. And I love fashion. I love women, you know, I'm all about being girly girl. Rudy was talking about the colors on my website. It's all bright pink. But again, you know, it's great to be a woman. And the fashion is just, it's awesome. I mean, I just feel like clothes express who you are. You can make it express who you are as a person. I try to, when I dress, you know, I try to wear things that, you know, that represent how I am as a person and how I feel. And actually, you can't see, but I have my Paris shirt on today, as I wish I were in Paris. But I opened this little boutique. And when I started out, I just kind of started out thinking it was going to be an online boutique. And it ended up, I had such great response that I ended up going ahead and finding a little space. So I have a small space down at the NFS building right past Carysbrook. And I'm open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6. And in that also, I'm also doing live shows on like Facebook, and I'll be doing Instagram. And so I'm doing all the social media. So definitely out there with the social media and just trying to get my name out there. I do have a sign that's coming this week to put out at the end of at Route 15. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I have your clothes, fragrances, and actually I get the fragrances from Elizabeth Arden. I have jewelry, I have purses, just all kind of good little things for women, and not expensive things. I wanted to have something, especially with how things are now. You know, you just can't spend a fortune in clothes and those things. So I tried to find things that were affordable and reasonable, and just to get people come in the door and visit us and to shop. So, and Mother's Day is coming up, so you guys come and see me. So yeah, that's it.
So, Joanne, I have a couple of questions for you. Can you share with us the top 2 or 3 things you found out that you didn't know when you started putting together the business? What was some of the biggest aha moments you found as you worked through this process?
There were a few. The biggest one that I'm actually, and I've made a couple of mistakes as far as, you know, what I did, and because I had to make some decisions on my own and not knowing where to reach out to in the beginning. You have to excuse me, this pollen is just really kicking my butt here lately. The biggest thing that I didn't have any idea about was about being a sole proprietor, about the LLC, and you know what really is good for you and your type of business. That was real important for me. So actually, I'm having to make that change. I started out as a sole proprietor. I thought that that's what, would work for me. But after, again, the women in business have been wonderful. I've had a lot of great advice from them, from the women there. So I'm becoming an LLC. I'm in the process of doing that with the attorney. So I think more of it was the business part, that I just, setting up a business that I just didn't know, and didn't know where to get the information from. When I went to open up my business account at the bank, she's like, well, do you have your fictitious name certificate? I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? I'd done everything. I have my EIN number and all of this, and I still had to go back. So, it's just been a learning experience as I go. I just wish that I had more information, so I wouldn't have made some of the mistakes and had to go back and fix things. But that's all right. It's a learning experience, and a good learning experience. So
what could the chamber have done to make you more aware of those services? Because we actually have all of those services under our chamber umbrella, but it's obvious that we haven't done a good enough job reaching out to new entrepreneurs. What do you think we could have done differently to let you know that there were resources out there to help you?
Well, when I did call the chamber, when I hadn't actually opened yet, but was in the process, I was told to call back when I get up and going. So I wish that there had been like maybe a welcome packet or something for new businesses that, someone has never done this before would know. I mean, I've sold Mary Kay and done those kinds of things, but as far as actually having a storefront, I think a packet that gives you all the different resources and different things that are available here in the county, and just kind of like a checklist, just making sure that a new business has dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, and make sure that they don't have to go back and maybe do some stuff over like I am now, because I didn't know, and I didn't know who to reach out to. So
Great. Who else has questions for Joanne? If you haven't been, you need to go check out her store.
thank you.
It's cute. It's very girly.
I've got a comment for the ladies. Her store does have very cute things at a reasonable price. And what I like about boutiques is they have things that are different that you don't see stamped out in department stores and things. So if you want to, dress just a little bit different than everybody else does, and the clothes are high quality, I encourage everybody to go visit. I'm certainly going to go back. I'll see you soon, Joanne.
And Miss Jan had her top on, Ann.
I almost wore mine this morning. I almost did.
She came by to see me Friday and she had it on. She's like, look at me. So she looked great. But also something too that I love to shop. I say that's better than therapy. Shopping is better than therapy, retail therapy. Is that, when you go to the store and they're putting all your stuff in the bag and they kind of just stuff it in the bag, like, you spent hundreds of dollars and, they're just, all your stuff is all wrinkled. By the time you get home, I wanted something better than that. All of my everyone that comes in and purchase, everything's wrapped in tissue paper, and the little butterflies on them, the packages that go out, and when I do local deliveries or mail out, all will come with a personal note. And I've actually, last night, I got 2 people sent me messages and said, oh my gosh, you made me feel so special because you sent me a note and I put goodies in there. And just you want to be happy when you spent the money, and I appreciate that you have spent it, and I want to make sure that I do. And so I've been putting, little goodies and stuff and little personal notes and wrapping everything up so they kind of feel like it's Christmas, so they can unwrap their stuff that they purchased. So.
And
Diane, it sounds like she's found her unique value proposition already.
Yeah, I made a note of that.
And when you do visit, it's that personal care.
Mhm.
You walk in and you feel like somebody really cares about what you're looking at, how it's going to look on you, and can advise too. So yeah, it's the personal touch. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Joanne? Okay, next up is Jack Duffy with Clearwater Systems. Jack has worked as a water specialist with Clearwater Systems for 3 years and holds a certification from the Water Quality Association. He moved to Palmyra a year ago with his girlfriend and their 2 dogs. Jack loves helping homeowners figure out the best way to get the water quality they want in their homes. I'll give you Jack Duffy of Clearwater Systems.
Hey guys, excited to be here, excited to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Like was just said, I've only been in Palmyra about a year. There's really not a better way to kind of get your finger on the pulse of what's going on than being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So really excited to be here. So I'm a water specialist with Clearwater Systems. We're a water treatment company. Our office is over in Charlottesville. We operate all over Central Virginia, a good bit in Fluvanna County, and I'd like to be here a little bit more. What we do is we'll test water, basic water chemistry tests, bacteria tests, figure out if there's something that needs to be put in there or taken out. The way we do that, I typically show up at somebody's house, walk them through a quick plumbing audit, kind of look at what they got to work with, and then we'll go through a pretty standard series of water tests. I'll review what I'm measuring, what it means, what we can do for the house. There's no high pressure sales tactics. Really, I just kind of take the time to educate a customer on, what they might need or what they might want to do with their water. If they want to do anything, we do have treatment equipment to kind of help get the water the way it's supposed to, whether that's a water softener, an acid neutralizer, which is one of the things we sell more frequently in Fluvanna County. Just UV lights, protecting from bacteria, stuff like that. Really just finding the right fit for each house. And then our technicians install that. They service it. If you have to do annual maintenance to it, they do that as well. We don't subcontract any of that work. Something that sets us apart is really our service team. So, like I said, we don't subcontract that work. Our service team has been working with us for ages. We've got one guy who's been with us for 30 years doing water treatment. So a lot of experience. Our guys are always prompt, courteous, and very knowledgeable about what they're doing. We take the time to educate any customer with, how to maintain their equipment. I'll always come back out about 2 weeks after anything's sold and installed, just to retest the water, make sure everything we put in there is doing what it's supposed to. And I always call that moment their pop quiz. So we go over how to change filters, regular maintenance responsibilities, just making sure everybody knows what they need to do to keep their equipment working right. Something else that sets us apart is that we are a licensed Connecticut dealer. So Connecticut is a water treatment equipment manufacturer out of Newberry, Ohio. They make all their equipment right here in America, and they have a patent on twin tank non-electric technology. What that does gives you a couple advantages. Whenever these systems are cleaning themselves out or regenerating, they use treated water to do that. So a little less maintenance long terms, and they're far more efficient as far as the media they're using, whether that's salt or chemical or brine, anything like that. They're also non-electric, so there's no buttons to push, no settings to get, anything like that. We install it, and then you guys just enjoy nice clear water. But yep, really excited to be here in Fluvanna. Been trying to get the word out there that this is a service we provide. We test water for free, so whether somebody wants to do something with their water or not, if they're just curious what's in it, curious that it's safe, we can help them get those answers. So very often I'll spend an hour in a house, not necessarily walk out with a sale, and I'm all right with that because I'm teaching people about their water. Really getting the word out that there is stuff you can do to improve it. There is stuff you can do to make it safer, make it better for you. Even if, I don't sell something in the house, that person had a good experience with me. They're going to tell somebody about me. Like, hey, this guy can help you with their water. Just really knowledgeable. He's got a certification from the Water Quality Association. Takes the time to teach you about your water. So that's really really what we're about, what we're trying to do.
Great. So Jack, how'd you get into water?
You know what? I kind of fell into it. I'd always been interested in it, and it's something that you know, I figure as more and more people are moving to, you know, building houses, things like that, as more and more industries popping up. You know, water quality is something we're always finding new emerging contaminants, and it's something that everybody uses every day. So the water treatment industry is something that's, you know, pretty safe, pretty stable. You know, we did have our struggles through the pandemic, but you know, people need clean drinking water, and it's if you can help somebody get that, it's a pretty validating thing, and so it's something you know, I've always kind of been interested in.
Do you have any horror stories to tell us about Ruth Ann or Trisha? You are too funny. Do you have any horror stories to tell us about a home you went to and did a test on and found something really horrid?
Yeah, so what we'll find pretty frequently is a type of bacteria called iron-related bacteria. It's not harmful to ingest, but what it does is it eats little bits of iron and minerals in your water, and it excretes a hydrogen sulfide odor, or a rotten egg odor. And it also excretes this like pink slime. So basically, this bacteria eats iron, and it poops rotten egg odor and pink slime. In higher concentrations, you can kind of walk into a house and without even running the water, smell that they got that rotten egg odor. And then if you look in the back of toilet tanks, or like even if they have those like gravity bowls for feeding dogs, that slime will build up in there. And nobody really looks in the back of their toilet tank too often, so you can pull that off and show people, and they'll just, I mean, their jaw will drop if they see all that slime in there, because they, I mean, like I said, it's not harmful to ingest, but it is off-putting, it is gross, and if somebody sees that, it's like, oh my God, this is in my water. Yeah, they usually want to fix it, but that's, you know, I'll run into a house like that probably a couple times a month. It's just something that's it's in the water. It's in here in Virginia. There's a couple things you can do to mitigate it, and there's a lot you can do to treat it.
Thanks. Anybody else have any questions for Jack?
Jack, how old is your company?
Our company got started in 1946. So Clearwater Systems is based out of Akron, Ohio. They have offices all over that state, all over Pennsylvania, one in Washington, one in Montana, and we're the one here in Virginia. You guys might know us as Commonwealth H2O. So we were Commonwealth H2O up until about 3-4 years ago when Clearwater Systems bought us. But Commonwealth came to the area, I think in like the late 70s. And they were treating water all over Albemarle, Fluvanna, Orange, all those places.
Thanks.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, next up is my friend Nancy Parsons. She's the president of the newly formed Lake Monticello Community Foundation. She spent more than 30 years in nonprofit management and fundraising at SUNY. All these years we've been friends, and I did not know you went to SUNY.
I didn't,
Or worked.
but I worked there.
Yeah, my wife started at SUNY in Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
Virginia Tech and the Nature Conservancies. Since moving to Lake Monticello around 5 years ago, she completed the Fluvanna Leadership Development Program, which I'll pitch to everybody who has not attended that. It is a great way to meet people in the community. It is a lot of fun, and you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to make their community better.
Hear, hear.
And she served as president of the Newcomers and Old Friends group at Lake Monticello. And having volunteered in the past with multiple philanthropic organizations, she was thrilled to be a founding director of the Community Foundation in March of 2020. My friend Nancy.
Hi. Yeah, launching a nonprofit during a pandemic certainly presented challenges, but thanks to technology and social media, we've been able to grow. We were certified in March of 2020. We started building a board of directors virtually. We held a virtual cocktail party. We got some canned wine from Cunningham Creek and then distributed them to some people that we wanted to invite to our virtual cocktail party. And that's how we pitched joining our board. The foundation's mission is simply to enhance our community and the quality of life of our community. And as I mentioned before, that doesn't only mean the people who live inside the gates of Lake Monticello. We would love to collaborate with the Historical Society, with Meals on Wheels, with other nonprofits in the county. We've already collaborated with Fire and Rescue, Lake Monticello Fire and Rescue. So it was a challenge to start trying to raise money during a pandemic, but we've done pretty well, I think, for our first year. We had our first fundraiser was something called a memory tree, where people could buy lights in memory of a loved one at Christmas time, and that was in front of the pub here at the lake. And we just had Shred Day in collaboration with Fire and Rescue, where people could bring their outdated documents to be shredded in front of them, so that it was quite secure. And we raised money for Fire and Rescue that way as well. We are going to be giving grants as we build our account. We are going to give grants. Currently, we're developing a process for giving grants to families who can't afford a pool membership. I know that's a first world problem, but there are families here who there are no lifeguards at the beaches, and so for families, particularly with small children or disabled family members, it's better for them to be at the pool, and so we're willing to subsidize that. We're going to be we have a working group looking at making one of our playgrounds all inclusive, so that both able-bodied and disabled children, parents and grandparents can be there safely and use those facilities. We're all do-gooders, and we want to make our whole community so much better. We're also working together with Jeff Spinello to do a car show on June 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Effort Baptist Church, and we will be raising money for disabled veterans, no matter where they live. That's kind of it in a nutshell. When we started out, Judy Fish and I talked about starting a nonprofit here, and I'd always been involved with nonprofits, and we're both activists. And I did some research, and I said to her, we need a lawyer. You can't, and Joanne, you found that out too. You need good advice, people who know what they're talking about. And so we were so fortunate. I happened to know someone from a history group I'm in, and asked him, Carol Kinsey, if he would be interested in helping us. And not only did he say yes, but he had experience helping nonprofits get started. He has done everything, and his firm has done everything pro bono for us. So, it was almost as if this was, I say it was divine intervention somehow. This was meant to be here. And then we have another friend who is a CPA with an MBA and helped us get our finances straightened out. And so there are many people here who want to help, and we've been very fortunate so far.
Great.
Yes.
Any questions for Nancy?
I have one. Nancy, how long did it take you to get it through the IRS before they gave approval?
I'm trying to think. Several months, and there was a backup. We didn't get our letter of determination from the IRS. It was in the works, but whether it was because of COVID and or I don't know why. There was an unusually long wait period apparently for some of our certification, but we got our certification fairly easily from the Commonwealth of Virginia, and then the IRS. And so we are a 501c3. Gifts, donations to the foundation are tax deductible if you're in the bracket where you can, where you don't have to use the. Anyway, so yeah.
Actually, that's very good, because when I ran my office, I helped some people, and it was up to 18 months. They were really slow.
Well, good. Yeah. It
Yeah,
seemed
I'm
like
glad to
it
hear they
seemed like a
speeded
long
things up.
time when we were, it seemed like a long time for us.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly the moment we started. I think it was October. It was
The previous year.
It was October of the previous, so it took about a year
Yeah.
to get our letter
Well,
of
they still speeded it
determination,
up
I
then.
guess. Well, that's great. We thought, I don't know, Carol thought that it was a long period of time, that it was delayed, but good. Okay, well, that's
All right.
great.
That's
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, so now we turn to our, yes,
Oh,
Tricia, I'm sorry.
Tricia.
Sorry, I wasn't fast enough with the unmute button. I just want to commend you. I mean, as somebody who's trying to keep a nonprofit moving forward during the pandemic to actually start one, that's glorious. And I just think that that's really courageous, and that's what it takes to run a nonprofit is courage. So that's wonderful. I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for the two nonprofits in the room, McGuire Woods has a nonprofit seminar every year in Charlottesville. It's free to attend, and it is
Trish,
chock full
we
of
can
information.
carpool.
I would highly recommend it. I've attended the last number of years for my work with Families Forward Virginia, which is a child advocacy group.
Right.
Okay.
But I would highly recommend it. You walk out of there with some great contacts and some really good information.
Thank you, Rudy.
Terrific.
All right, so now we're going to
as
turn.
far as, can I just say one more thing? As far as the businesses involved too, if there's some way that we can help with you, or we can collaborate on things too, we're willing to listen, and we're willing to give it a try. We're making this up as we go along to a large extent. So, and we're, as I say, we're growing in terms of our vision. So,
Also, what else might be really helpful for you, Nancy, is to send your entire board through the Center for Nonprofit Excellence board training program in Charlottesville. It'll really help you guys congeal as a governance board, and then at some point make the decision between a governance board and a working board. Big difference in the way who you pick for the board.
Yeah, and we're kind of a hybrid at this point. We have Anita Bowles is our vice president, and she runs a nonprofit in Charlottesville. She and I have different experience with the kinds of nonprofits that we work for and ran. So we bring that to the table. But we have a good mix of talent, and they're all philanthropically minded people who, as I said, we just want to make our community better.
Great, thanks.
Thanks.
So our presenter today is Miss Diane Arnold, who lives out here in Fluvanna County. She is our point person with the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center. Diane has been working with the Chamber for as long as I can remember. She's been a great partner, and they have done a lot to help us help our businesses. So Diane is going to talk to us this morning, and I will turn it over to Diane.
Okay. Ruth Ann, can I share screen? Give me permission?
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to bore you to death with a PowerPoint. I have a few slides that I wanted to share. Okay.
Okay, wait a minute, sorry. Share screen. One participant, multiple event sharing options. I'm sorry, I am getting old and can't remember what I have to do to make you share.
All
Allow
right,
you
well,
to share.
I
Where'd Rudy
I
go?
wrote down my talking points. because
Okay. Sorry.
I love technology glitches. I had one recently, a 3-hour class, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I had to keep changing computers while I was talking. It was hysterically funny. And then when I got it all settled out, the janitor came, opened the door, and dragged the trash can all around, making noise. So that was pretty interesting. But
Okay, new share. Wait a minute. A new share. But that's, see, do you have yours up here? I can't see it.
no, you have yours up.
Okay. So
You
sorry.
have disabled participant screen sharing.
I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You need to make her a co-host, Ruth Ann.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was a trick. Jeez, Ruth Ann. Okay.
We've learned all these new skills during COVID.
I don't know if I would say that I'm learning. But oh, good Lord. Stop share. Diane. Add co-host. Do you want? Yes, I do. Okay.
Oh, let me see if I can do this now. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to share, let's see. Let me get my, now I have to figure it out, right?
Yep, it's on you now.
All right, here we go. And I want to put that in the full view. I wanted to share this slide with you. This is from the SBA numbers from the year 2020. And it's a profile of the small businesses in the country. And you can see that predominantly businesses are made up of one person. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? All these wonderful people out there carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see the next group are the one, what we normally say, 1 to 19 employees. And then we get the smaller group where they have 20 to 499 employees. I just find that fascinating. I like people to see that. Our friends and neighbors, the people that live around us who have a business, carry an awful lot of weight on their shoulders so they can provide all of us with goods and services. So welcome to the world of business, Joanne, and you're one of those people now. And one of the things that I thought was really fascinating is I was thinking about, I've done a lot of training lately for people who want to start businesses. And one of the things I like for them to understand that they become the face of the business, and it's their character and reputation on the line. So I threw a few quotes up here that I thought were interesting. Remember Mr. Wooden, he was a football coach. He says you have to be
basketball.
Yeah. You have to be more concerned, and I sort of agree with that. If you've got a good character, you'll continue with a good reputation. And then Benjamin Franklin started us off in this country with saying, this is really close to marketing. It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation, but only one bad one to lose it. And it's so hard to rebuild it. And then Elizabeth Arden said, and this is so true of marketing, repetition makes reputation, and reputation makes customers. So kudos to Joanne for finding a way to stand out and by showing care to her customers with the little extras that she does to make it a memorable experience. Those are little, if she keeps doing that, it will spread. And I can tell you, I worked with people in Danville, and when they came in and started a restaurant, and it grew to 5 locations. And one of the things that they did was they put all of their food in this beautiful little heavy plastic bag with a flat bottom, bright green, that could be reused. The way they packaged their to-go lunches, and you could, everywhere you went, you saw people with the green bags and you immediately thought of them. It was a simple thing, but it was a thing that made a difference for them in their marketing. And again, Warren Buffett, who we know as a pretty astute businessman, you have to constantly think about what you're doing to keep your reputation. Now, things have changed, so what should I do? And that's definitely true with COVID. We've seen that. I've had some clients that were able to turn on a dime and they thrived. I liked what Tricia told us at the start. She looked at her historical society. She did what we'd love to see clients do. She moved forward. She looked at what can we do, not what can't we do. And that's the way it is with business. A lot of times you've just got to be able to stand back and say, all right, I can't go that way, I'll go this way. You can't just sit and like a deer in the headlights, I don't know what to do. So things have changed. What should you do? Well, the first thing is you've got to remain positive. It's important to be positive for yourself. It's important to be positive for the customers that you're dealing with. And if you have employees, it's really important to be positive. And you have to be able to communicate. That's so important. Share, talk to people, let them know what's going on, and be supportive, especially if you have employees. This is a tough time for a lot of people. About half the population in US, 47% to be exact, are people who are very risk intolerant, and they make up the bulk of employees. And you need to be supportive, but you have to communicate with them. So you think ahead and prepare. So these are just things that we need to be reminded of. One thing that I like to remind all of the businesses right now is the rising cost. And I've seen this already with my clients. I'm working on a project now, and we're getting ready to make a big move with this company. And she signed the lease and we're ready to go. And, you know, gas has gone up. As we start looking at her cost again, and a lot of her basic ingredients have gone up. And the packaging that she needs, packaging's gone up 14%. So this is really important. When you see the rising cost, you need to start calculating. And then you need, when you raise your prices, and you'll have to do that, you need to prepare a statement and get yourself comfortable with when you're going to get some pushback from your customers. But you need to have a simple statement, and you need to go over that with your employees if you have it, so that they're comfortable saying it. And you need to be able to talk through that with your customers. I love you to death. I want to serve you, but I can't stay in business if I don't raise my prices. This has gone up, this has gone up, this has gone up. Most small businesses are very hesitant to raise their prices. That's you hear customers complain. I've not met anybody who says, oh boy, I can't wait to raise my prices. They're usually got a paper and a pencil, and they're figuring, they're trying not to do it, but to survive, you have to. And one other thing that I think is really important, it's a time for you to sit down and revisit your cost. When we got in with this lady, I've been working with her for a while, and we looked at cost at one point, and then we went back through it, and we realized that she was leaving some things out. So it's really important to sit down and go through costing your products and services and making sure you're covering everything. And this is the time when you should check with your suppliers and with your shippers and see about what's coming down the pike. Got a little slow period as we gear up to maybe reopen the economy fully. We need to do that. And this is also a time to do some spring cleaning, put that fresh face on. And one of the things that retailers struggle with sometimes is they need to remember that they need to freshen things up regularly. You know, if, as a housewife, I remember I would keep my house clean. I'd go away for 2 weeks on vacation. I came back and I realized, you know, I can do a little painting or change things up a little bit and give it a fresh look. So you want your stores nice and clean. And that means if you are a retailer, a lot of times they come in the back door of the business and they don't come through the front door and see what the customer is seeing. It's important. Pull up and look and see what the customer, that the signage looks good, that the front door is clean. And when they come in, that the store looks orderly so that it's welcoming. You want to come in and you want to shop. That also means if you're a service contractor, your workspaces and your service vehicles, you certainly want to keep those clean. And then I'm not going to do a whole lot on this, but tidy up your marketing. Go back and look, do a search on the web and find out where you're popping up and what people are saying about you and how things look. And make sure that you have, you keep your Google business page up and fresh. That is a free way to market. It is the way that most people are found when they pick up the smartphone and they'll put in they want something, and you'll pop right up if you set that up properly. And it doesn't cost you a cent. You can put pictures and hours and all sorts of things. So make sure you've got that updated occasionally, and then freshen up that website. Greg is going to really go into more on the marketing in June. So I'm not going to steal his thunder, although I kind of know what he's going to talk about as we collaborated. So I had the little guy here, and he keeps, so now he's happy because he's got something to do. So I'm out of this, and I just want to make a couple of comments about Project Jumpstart. One of the things that our organization realized as we dealt with, dealt with the pandemic and what it was doing to the small business community. After we came up from air and helped people with the EIDL loans and the PPP, and if you got a PPP, put that thing to bed, get that, don't have that dragging out anymore. Let's get it to bed. Was that we needed to help those who couldn't sell online to be able to sell online. And so we brought on several people in our organization. That's how we got Cameron and Greg to come aboard. And as we work on that, we realized that we needed more help. So we have a very a delightful new director, came out of the investment world, and she's a girl after my own heart. It's like, do it and then ask forgiveness. So she just went out and started building connections, and we came up with grant money, and now we have 3 people working on building websites for businesses. And it's this, you know, in our region, you have to be in our region. They're basic websites, but they will have a darn good foundation. You can build on those websites. They're wonderful to start with, and you can add to them because the foundation is there. It's called Project Jumpstart. You can read about it on our website. C for Central, V for Virginia, and SBDC, so cvsbdc.org. And the application process is there, so is the application. So if you don't have one, I hate to break it to you, but we do not work with nonprofits because we have the Center for Nonprofit Excellence in Charlottesville. And we are so slammed with the pandemic that we just no longer have the manpower, so we had to make that decision. So what we do is we help people start, manage, and grow their businesses. And we do the market research. And Joanne, I'm glad that you're moving to get your LLC set up. That's critical because you have a rental space and people are walking into it, and you're responsible. If you were selling only online, you could be a sole proprietor and it would be no problem at all. But you're assuming responsibility when you have people coming into your place of business. So I've been doing this for many, many years. I also ran a procurement technical center, and I've also been a marketing director, and I've also been a school teacher. That's how I started life as a school teacher. And I still pretty much act like that. Somebody told me recently, "You're a school marm." And I said, well, that's how I started. I'm a mother and a school marm. And so when you get me for your counselor, that's what you get. You're a school marm and a mother. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions if anyone has any. That's all I have, Rudy. I thought that was enough.
Thanks, Diane. Any questions for Diane?
4 things to do. And what to do under those 4 things.
So who was that person who ran around like crazy and got your grant money?
Rebecca.
My buddy.
She's like a little Energizer buddy. She's
She
really
absolutely is. I've
I
seen more of
enjoy working
Rebecca
with her.
in a year than I saw of the previous director in 8 years.
Yeah, the previous director is her health has just failed. She's
Yeah.
I really loved. She loved what she was doing, but Rudy, she was a college professor, and they do not make good directors.
Yeah.
It's all about, I size people up for their personality. I look for when I sit down and I want to know all about you, and then I kind of want to know what makes you tick. And if I know what your dominant personality type is, I know how to deal with you. It makes it so much easier. And I tell people, there's no right or wrong answer. We're all made wonderfully individually. And it takes all of us to make anything work. So embrace who you are, and then we'll look for help to complement what you need.
Yep. So I want to do one thing to kind of reinforce what Diane was talking about, the Google business page.
You have that right, Rudy?
Yep. So this is what happens when you build a Google business page, right? So this box over here to the side is actually what shows up as your Google business page when you're searched for. And all the information that's in here is stuff that you put in yourself. So it is really an interesting, cheap marketing tool that you can use. You can link it to your social media sites. It's just a great tool, and the cost is just about perfect.
Yeah. Did you do when Google had back in the let's see, probably 2010, they had a campaign, get your business online. They were trying to connect get all businesses on Main Street and line.
No, I had already been online for a couple of years then, and this is just the latest iteration. So.
Yeah, well, they had the SBDCs were part of that, and I went to Orlando and got the training, and we came back and we pushed websites. We had workshop after workshop, and people would come in with their laptops, and I had staff, and we'd go around and help them use that site to get a free website and learn to use some of these other tools. So we did that for a couple of years. And then you can still find that GYBO, that's what's called Get Your Business Online. Google has a lot of wonderful tutorials and things to help people. And Joanne, just for your information, if you change your plugin, if you need a more robust way to sell online, or any of you, we have on staff a couple of people that will help you integrate that into your accounting system. We have a wonderful lady named Ellen Martin, and she is a QuickBooks Pro advisor, and her job is to help get your charts of accounts set up, and also to help you pick the right platforms for other things that you want them connected to your QuickBooks. She also works with some free software that some businesses elect to use when they first get started. But if you look at our website now, you'll see that there's a team of very skilled people put together, and we do collaboration. That wasn't looked favorably favorably upon several years ago, but the new way of working is getting all the resources that the client needs. So we work as teams, and that has been very, very effective. And I guess you all figured that out too, that it's a team effort that really gets things done. And I encourage you, especially, Chamber is a great organization. You got another support group and you make friends. I was in the Chamber in the Pennsylvania County Danville area for years, and before that in Huntington, West Virginia. And I can tell you that it's a good organization to be a part of when you're a small business. You need to surround yourself with where you can find advice that you can trust, and people who are interested in seeing you survive and thrive.
Great. Thank you so much, Diane. So we ran about 5 minutes over, folks, but we do have two pieces of business. One is fun and one is just a reminder of upcoming. So I want you guys to remember your number. Number 1 is Ruth Ann. Number 2 is Diane. Number 3 is Tricia. Number 4 is Joanne. Number 5 is Nancy. Sherry's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number 6 is Ann, number 7 is Bob, and number 8 is Jack. And I ask you to remember that because we're going to do a couple of drawings here. If I can figure out where I am. There we go. So what are we going to give away first, Ruth Ann?
Clearwater Systems offered a $20 Chick-fil-A gift certificate and also a couple pieces of swag, Clearwater swag.
Great. All right, so here we go. And the winner is Bob, number 7.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, and what are we giving away next, Ruth Ann?
The Fluvanna Historical Society membership, 1-year membership.
Okay. That would be you, Ruth Ann.
Yay! And the next thing is the Lake Monticello Foundation t-shirt that she's showing right now. Gorgeous.
And that would be Bob again.
You.
And then everybody, Joanne Watkins is giving everyone who attended a 10% discount on any in-store purchase at the Small Town Butterfly Boutique.
Yay.
So
Right.
tell her.
Just see me in shop.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I will send out a copy of the this recording, and also to everybody, I will send you the list of who won what and how to get it. I guess you guys can talk to each other about. I have the gift certificate and the swag from Clearwater Systems here at the office. So Bob, you can check with me and maybe pick it up.
Ruth Ann, this is your newest member of the chamber.
Oh, thank you. I think it's our first member. Our
cute.
Well,
first.
she just kept coming up to me because she could hear you guys talking, so she wanted to know what was going on. So
She's
Pretty
cute.
cute.
She's adorable.
thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Ruth Ann, if you could go ahead and stop recording.
Thank
All
you.
righty.